The time is just gone 8:49 a.m. This is News and Views on Salam Media, and we cross over now to Sudan. We're going to be talking to Doctors Without Borders, and our guest is Rongi Vato. I hope I'm saying that correctly. He is with Doctors Without Borders and looking at another very crisis situation in Sudan, and we understand that the humanitarian crisis there is one of the worst in recent history. Let's hear what Doctors Without Borders are doing down there, and are they able to make a dent in the situation as it is unraveling. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the program, Jean-Guy.
Thank you very much, Julie. You did a wonderful job with my name. Thank you. Yes, Sudan, your auditors, some of them are old enough to remember former crisis in Sudan in the 1990s in South Sudan and 20 years ago in Darfur. Already, this situation is worse on many aspects. I can name three. One, the fighting is affecting of the country. It is now happening from east to west, from north to south. All the country is almost directly hit by the conflict. Two, as a consequence of the first point, the number of displaced people is higher than what it's ever been in this country. It's more than 10 million people. 20% of the population had to escape from their home because of the fighting. It's also the highest number of displaced people in the world at the moment. And three, the level of humanitarian assistance delivered in the country is just a drop in the water. It is not at all. Comparable to what is needed in the country, and it's much.
Okay, we seem to be having a problem with the connectivity there. Jean-Guy, can you hear me, or have we lost you? Let's see if we can reconnect maybe by telephone. Please do stay with us. Time for us to take a break yet again, but we do need to try and get our guest on a more stable line.
Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda. Tune into Salam Media via audio stream.
People don't realize, I think, just how precarious the situation is.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda. Via audio stream.
People don't realize, I think, just how precarious the situation is. And that is why we took the fairly extreme step of shutting down Daily Maverick yesterday just for one day in order to try and make this point to the public. I find that people are shocked when I tell them, for instance, that in media, 70% of the workforce has been lost over the last decade. Those jobs have just vanished. I mean, it's hard, I think, to think of another industry which has been as decimated over such a short period of time. And the reason for that, we all know, is down to what you're saying about social media, about the tech giants. So in the past, media relied heavily on advertising, and businesses would give us advertising, and that was a very revenue stream. Now what tends to happen is that you have a business, you're going to give your advertising spend to Google or to Facebook, and we understand that because, you know, those are where the eyes are, those are where the clicks are. But the result is that there has been this incredible reduction of revenue towards media in a way that is becoming, frankly, unsustainable.
Rebecca Davis from the Daily Maverick.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. أو كيف السبيل. Humanity sets the agenda. Rejuvenating media day by day.
South Africa is a water-scarce country. We don't get a lot of rain, even though we get some of these flash floods these days. And that's a big problem. You know, if you think about how the biggest cities and things of the world are built, they're built on main water resources. And in South Africa, if you look at Joburg as an example, the Vaal River is not necessarily a natural water resource. So it's a very finite resource that we need to look after. But the biggest problem is the contamination of this water, and specifically because of our wastewater treatment works, so that it doesn't have an ecological negative consequence. Problem is that our municipalities have neglected our wastewater treatment works significantly over the last decade. So much so that probably about 70% of our wastewater treatment works in the country are completely dysfunctional, discharging raw sewage into our dams and rivers.
Julius Kleinhans, the Executive Manager for Social Innovation at WaterCan.
This is Salam Media. Tune into Salam Media via audio stream.
I'm happy I can see all over the world, same workers and students are also marching against the genocide they see in Gaza. And we just want to say there is no real...
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Welcome back. We have reconnected with Jean Guy, and we are talking about the humanitarian crisis in Sudan. Jean, are you there? Good morning. Welcome back. Sorry we lost you. Jean? Okay, we don't seem to be winning with this connection whatsoever, and it is exactly 8:56. I think I hear him now. Are you there, Jean? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No, I completely understand. Things are really very dire in that part of the world. A very quick question. Let me just read out a short statement here and then you can respond. We do understand that over the last 16 months, Sudanese civilians have faced indiscriminate attacks. It has forced over 10 million people to flee their homes, and this has created the world's largest displacement crisis. And you have indicated a little earlier on that this is happening all around Sudan, from the north to the south and the east to the west and vice versa. So where are the people fleeing to? Jean-Guy, can you hear me? Okay, unfortunately, I think we're going to have...
Most people stay in Sudan and try either around the big cities or a large population, Chad, Egypt, South Sudan mainly.
Sorry, can you repeat that, please? It was very staggered. It was very broken up.
Most people stay in the country when they are displaced and seek refuge around big cities that are not affected by the conflict. There is very few of them left. And some flee across borders, mostly in Chad, in Egypt, or in South Sudan.
Okay, so what are these neighboring countries doing about the influx of these refugees? On the one hand, there's Doctors Without Borders trying to make sure that people do have the basic necessities to enable them to survive. But I'm wondering what happens when they cross the borders. Are the neighboring countries trying to make it a bit more easier for them to find refuge?
Yes, they are for the refugees, but they are accepted by the UN, and there is delivery of aid assistance. The situation for the displaced people inside the country is much more difficult.
Okay, Jean, I do apologize, but I think we're going to have to leave it there. The line is really very, very bad. Perhaps we can talk with you again, maybe later or tomorrow morning on a more stable line. I do realize it's out of your hands completely, and you were as keen to talk with me as we're keen to hear what's exactly happening on the ground there in Sudan. But hopefully tomorrow or late in the week, we can talk once again on a more stable line. But thank you indeed. Keep safe and God bless.
Thank you very much.
It is exactly 8:59 a.m. In a minute or two, we'll be entering the second hour of our show on News and Views on Salam Media. And we would like to remind you that the second hour of the show, News and Views, is sponsored by Africa Muslims Agency. Africa Muslims Agency, a beacon of hope to communities for over 35 years in Africa and beyond. I do look forward to the second hour of the show. We will be talking about the Rohingya massacre with Ataram Shin. Also on the show, my colleague Mariam Makwanda. She's a producer here at Salam Media, and we're going to talk about the amazing guests we will be featuring on our show this month. And inshallah, we will also then be wrapping up by talking with Associate Professor of Religion at Uppsala University in Sweden regarding the chapter, or rather the final chapter in the life of the Swedish Quran burner. All of that and more coming up on the show right here on News and Views on Salam Media.